This guide is about debt settlement, about the emotions of debt settlement, about who it's for, who it's not for, how it works, and if it could be a good strategy for you to use to change your situation, to get a new start if you're in an unsustainable financial position right now. So, just to start off, who is debt settlement for? Debt settlement is for people who are in a financial hardship. How do we identify someone in a financial hardship? Through enrolling people and talking to people on the phone about this strategy, we find a lot of similarities in the stories we hear and the situations people are in. There's really three themes that always pop out that are shockingly consistent across that group. Number one, they have little to no money left over at the end of each month after paying their bills. They're squeezed real hard on a month-to-month, paycheck-to-paycheck basis. They're paying their minimums usually on their credit cards, or they've already fallen behind on one or more of their accounts or one or more of their cards. They're utilizing credit, if they have any available credit left. They're using that credit to purchase necessities. So they're using credit to buy gas, groceries, weekly necessities. So they're charging $200, $300 a month on their card. And then the next month, when the bill comes, they're just paying the minimum. They keep making the minimum payment while charging another $200 or $300 each month. So they're on an unsustainable path because they just don't have the funds to do any more than that, to make ends meet every month. The second situation is they have no money in savings. And you could guess that would be true just based on number one. So if they're using credit to buy necessities, they're not in a position to save cash each month. If they have cash, they could use that to pay down their debt, or at least pay for their necessities to stop building more debt. The third situation is that they have no foreseeable increase in income. So they don't see a pay raise or any new funds coming in each month. So they're on a fixed income essentially. They're in a position with their job or however they're making income to where there's no way to make more income. If they had more or the ability to make more income, they could pay more on their debt, or at least they could pay cash for their necessities to stop accruing more debt. So all those three things work together. If one's true, usually they're all true. So it creates a situation where they're either maxed out on their credit cards because they've been in that situation so long that they've accrued month over month costs that they haven't paid down, or they're getting close to being maxed out. Once they're maxed out, they find themselves unable to obtain any new credit to cover the weekly or monthly shortfall. So if you identify with those situations, debt settlement could be a strategy that could work for you. So who is it not for? Well, it's not for people who aren't in those situations. If you have a lot of credit card debt, but you're making your monthly minimums and you're fine with it, it's not stressing you out. You're not really concerned about it. Maybe it bothers you. You want to get out of debt, but you're still happy to do that every month, then it's not for you. If you have money in savings that you can be paying towards your debt, or if you're putting $500 a month in your savings account every month while accruing more debt, well, it's not for you, because you have cash available to pay those debts. And three, if you have an increase in income, say you're in a position where you could go get another job and make another $10,000 or $15,000 a year, and that could pay off your debts, well, this isn't for you. Debt settlement is not a kind of get out of jail free card. It's not a solution for someone who just says, well, I don't want to pay these debts. I could, but I don't want to. It's not for you. So if you're in the latter of those situations, then you should just stop listening because this is of no value to you. And I don't want to waste your time. But if you do identify with the first set of the three situations, no money left over at the end of the month, no money in savings, and no increase in income, and you're feeling the squeeze and it's keeping you up and it's impacting your relationships, impacting your sleep, and it's just stressing you out, well then keep listening because this could be a strategy that could work for you. So, what's the strategy? Well, debt settlement is a program that allows you to settle your debts with your creditors for less than the balance is owed. How does it work? If you're interested, the first step would be to contact us, and we'd go through a consultation. During the consultation, we'll look at your credit, we'll look at your debts, we'll get statements or a credit report. Look at how much you owe and who you owe. To gain an understanding of these are creditors we can work with, or these are creditors we can't work with, just to see if you're a good candidate from that front. Next, we'll look at your budget. We'll look at cash in, cash out. Do you have room in your budget to pay more on your debts? Are you spending too much on this, too much on that? Could you free up some cash to pay down your debts? And if you can, then that's a better solution for you. If you're looking at your monthly budget and you're like, ugh, I'm maxed out, I'm squeezed, I'm paying only the minimums on everything, I'm barely getting by, I have no luxuries in my life, I need help, then it could be for you. We'll listen. We're gonna listen to your story. We're gonna listen to how you got into this situation. Do you see a way out? Do you not see a way out? We talk to people every day who are not in great situations. Nobody wakes up saying, boy, I can't wait to get into debt settlement. I think I'm there now. I think I'm ready. It's not a fun thought and it's not a fun situation to be in, but we can be your partner in that situation. You don't have to do it alone. You can get professionals on your side to present an option to you that you may be comfortable with or you may not be comfortable with. You may want to proceed or you might not want to pursue it. But it could be worth looking into and getting on the phone. How the program actually works is once you sign up and you're vetted, you're a candidate, you'll set up an account, and instead of paying your credit debts monthly to your creditors, you'll pay a payment which will usually be significantly lower than the sum of your minimum payments. You'll pay that into a new designated savings account that is solely in your name. So what that means is that your credit cards will go into default. That's a fact. They will. That will be an emotional hurdle you'll have to get over. From that weakened position is the only way you can get strength. If your creditors know that you're not paying them anymore, they'll eventually be open to taking a settlement. If you continue to pay a few of your creditors and not others, you're showing all the creditors that, hey, well, you know, creditor 1's getting paid, but 2, 3, and 4 aren't. So 2, 3, and 4 are going to say, well, why is 1 getting paid? So it's a total approach to dealing with your credit card debt. So for a lot of people, that's the hardest thing to get over, because your credit will be impacted negatively and you'll have feelings of guilt and failure and shame associated with letting those accounts go into default. But it's necessary, it really is. It's just a fact of the program. So what happens is, let's say you're paying $1,000 in minimum payments every month that you could barely afford or couldn't afford. Instead, let's say, for example, you end up paying $650 into the program account each month. Well, that's going to be $350 back into your pocket every month. It's going to give you some quality of life increase right away because you're going to have some extra cash in your pocket to kind of ease the burden of those payments every month. So that $650 that goes into the program account is going to accrue. It's going to keep going up and up every month that you pay into the account. And once you've paid enough into the program to where there's a balance accrued that could be used as a settlement, we'll go and approach those creditors one by one and say, we have a settlement. We'll offer you X on this balance. And we leverage it by saying, hey, if you don't take this, we'll go to a creditor, 2, 3, or 4, and offer it to them. So there's leverage on your side once you're in that weakened position. The process just replicates itself, and you're going to get calls and you're going to feel guilty. You can always call us and we'll help you through it. We'll help you feel secure in your decision. Because ultimately, any program to deal with your debt, whether it's debt settlement, the snowball method, bankruptcy, credit counseling, consolidation loan, it's all about consistency. You have to choose a program or plan that you can be consistent with. Talking again about those 3 situations people are in when they have no money left over at the end of the month, they have no money in savings, and they have no foreseeable increase in income. The 4th would be that they have no plan. Most of the people that we help, unfortunately, don't have a plan to get out of debt. They're just overwhelmed by the situation. Debt settlement presents an option to have a plan, and it's a plan you can understand. It's a plan that hopefully you can stick with. If you just stick with the plan, you'll be able to save some money while you're enrolled in the program by having a lower program payment than the total of your monthly minimums that you were paying before. And you can be debt-free. Those debts could be gone after 3 or 4 years. The goal of the program is to get those debts behind you in 3 or 4 years. So if this sounds like something that could work for you or something you'd be interested in learning more about, I encourage you to give our office a call and just talk with someone. Just explain your situation, tell your story to us, and see if we can help. I also encourage you to kind of take in as much information as you can about the process and about the pros and cons. We have content out there about all the cons and all the FAQs that people ask us. The more information you take in, the more comfortable you're going to be with your decision, whether that's debt settlement or any other option of dealing with your debt. The big pushback is that this is going to impact my credit negatively. Yes, it is. But if you're in those three situations, no money left over at the end of the month, no money in savings and no increase in income, and you have no plan, that's already impacting your credit negatively, or it's going to. It may not do it right now, but down the road it will. You're in an unsustainable position. And if you're in an unsustainable position, you're going to have to get over the fear of making a decision. Because if you're staying in the same situation because you understand it, it's not going to improve. Because honestly, getting out of debt will be one of the greatest things you can do for yourself and for your family. If you're in a minimum payment cycle right now, just take a look at your minimum payment warnings on your cards. You could be in debt for 20 to 30 years, and that's if you're not adding any debt to those cards and just paying the minimums. That means cutting the cards up today and paying the minimums for 20 to 30 years. Think about all the things that are going to happen in your life between now and the next 30 years. Do you want to carry this burden with you through the course of those things? Or do you want to make a decision and take control and get your life back? You can go through the program and go through the short-term pain, but establish some new habits, establish a new mindset towards how you look at debt, how you look at money or spending, all of those things. It's an opportunity to reset your mind and how you think about all of those things. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for watching.